I think Fion Gunn and Maureen Kendal are there. I think they are there.
Yes.
Good.
Hi.
Hello. I'm going to leave you. I know your talk has got quite a long title, so I won't.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll let you just intrigue us. Thank you very much.
Myself. Okay. Let me just put it on play. Here we go. Okay. Hello. I'm Maureen Kendal, and I'm with Fion Gunn today. So it's how artists use immersive technologies to promote inclusivity, diversity, and deep engagement in ethical ways. To set the scene, in 2017, I started working with Pang Song Ong, who was the director of Ping Hub International. And the idea was that we would create a virtual platform for artists, galleries, and audiences. And in July 2018, we did create a pilot, which was funded by Ping Hub VR as part of the Silk Road's Past, Present and Future exhibition at Walthamstow Festival in the Winds Gallery. So the findings from that pilot was presented at a previous EVA conference. But moving on from that and following in that wake, in 2019, Fion, who was part of that pilot, worked with myself and Mehmet for this next research stage of the project. And this paper today presents those insights and findings.
And I was so inspired by the Ping Hub VR experience that I made a proposal to Tate Exchange Liverpool, where I'm an associate, and they accepted it. And I was artist in residence there last July, and put on this interactive, participatory, generative exhibition. So I'm using all the buzzwords, but basically visitors and workshop participants, they were introduced to AR and VR, as well as engaging with tangible and material artworks. So the outcome for me of the project was then a digital installation at Tate and the Open Eye Gallery, and creation of an AR pop-up trail, which actually didn't really work very well, but I learned a lot in the process. So at the beginning of lockdown, Maureen and I drew together a group of artists, and we call ourselves A Maze. And we began collaborating on our first project, which is called Boundless Worlds in Flux. We're now at a sort of early prototype MVP stage, and we're reaching out for partners whose journey is convergent with ours. And this is a quick snapshot of the virtual landscape we've created from the viewer's entry point of view. And to the, you can see the virtual scape that we've created just on the, so just to the right of the avatar. And you can see the spherical hub in the distance.
So this is the interactive exhibition that Fion put on at the Tate Exchange Liverpool. It's a girl taking a photograph of her dad, who's about to step into the boat, which she made, scanned and could view as an AR pop-up. So this was the first introduction to AR for over 700 workshop participants. This is massively popular, and 3,000 people came through the door in 1 week. It was the best attended and most deeply engaged exhibition that Tate Exchange Liverpool has ever had.
And moving closer to our hub, you can see some portholes, or portals, because they also act as a portal into our virtual space. So the user can enter from below the sphere in a sort of virtual lift. And the portals can be accessed from within the sphere as well as from outside. So it's kind of like a bit like a TARDIS, I guess. And each portal takes you through into an individual artist world. So in effect, we're creating a sort of immersive multiverse for our visitors.
In our research, the artists interviewed came from different creative journeys and had different inspirational experiences. And our insights showed that the role and identity of the artist and their sensibilities were distinct and different from design, aesthetic, and gaming concerns. For example, Nancy Baker Cahill's TED Talk explains her journey into immersive technology from being a 2D artist. And by using immersive tech and 3D, she expanded her audience and her artworks into real 3D spaces and immersive space. So public engagement was a major concern for her.
And another artist we spoke with was Julie Freeman, and she works very closely with coders and actually describes them as fellow artists. And as with many of the artists we interviewed, the themes and aesthetics of her work they've got their roots in her childhood experience. So for many years as a kid, she had an undiagnosed visual impairment, and that meant she focused primarily on soundscape, the soundscape around her. So now she works with sound in all its forms, visualizing the connections between sound waves and patterns of metacode. And she embraces experimentation and randomness. Her process is not goal-orientated. It's much more about exploration and open-endedness. And she likes to work with coders very closely in a collaborative way.
So in the Amaze group, we are interested in complexity and multi-layers, transdisciplinarity, and that's when we work across disciplines, and research working methods, and engaging in the current global concerns and some of the ethics around ecology. We're also challenging the notion of an isolated artist. So in our other practices, we are all engaged in real life transformational actions.
And this is a view of the 6 portals currently featured in our Boundless Hub. So in a way, it's a bit like a sort of free online museum that allows you to kind of dip in and out of different spaces. You can take as little time or as much time as you want in them. You can travel or teleport from one artist world into another. And each of those different routes will feature interactive elements, stories to listen to, texts to read, embedded films to watch, and infographics to access information. One of our portals will lead the viewer to a participant space. And there they can begin to co-create with us. They can leave messages, visual and text-based. They can leave images, little video clips, find elements and hide them, leave a trail for others to follow, and engage with us in a really sort of meaningful and hopefully ongoing way.
Just realizing, I don't know if you can see, maybe I should do something about that. There we are. Sorry about that. I think I don't know if you saw the that was in there. Sorry. Okay, so here we have the artist plays a distinct role, enabling challenging conversations, encouraging curiosity and exposing what has been hidden or not articulated. Whilst art educators and craft professionals might promote aesthetic design and gameplay design, this and offering users opportunities of deep immersion, artists are creating something else. They're creating the unexpected, new ways of perception and conversations around the ethics and the challenges of ethics and ecology. So there is a certain tradition of artists, as we know, as artists as disruptors and thinking outside the box. And here the notion of the artist's poetic envisaging is about profound emotional response to an idea, an experience, a narrative. And the creative process is often subliminal. And it is this subliminal feeling that the response that the viewers are actually connecting with on a deep level.
And so this way of thinking makes transdisciplinarity an obvious path to follow, because curiosity lies at the heart of our project. So this is art as a way of being connected, not a stereotypical and often erroneous view of the artist as, stuck in an ivory tower somewhere. So, as Maureen mentioned, the AMA's group has a socially activist approach, and we want to create other ways of navigating and experiencing art beyond physical galleries and museums, a way for viewers to have choice and agency and to participate without cultural inhibitions.
So what's quite unique about this Amaze group is that we feel it's quite unique in our experience, is that we meet regularly on Thursday mornings, and we build around lots of conversations around those meetings. So we're building a shared framework, and we're by means of conversation, presentation, and sharing of our own artwork in a kind of critique way. Our different histories and identities, ages and backgrounds, as you can see from the images here, have been crucial in developing our common space, in focusing on inclusivity as a primary factor and not just as an afterthought. Our range of experience, skills and perspectives, and ways that we use visual language have enriched our creative conversation in a challenging and meaningful way. And we also want to enjoy this process and grow from it. We see this as part of our creative and technological development.
And the participant space is really central to what we've been creating, or in effect co-creating. We know that people love to be welcomed and to be included in the experience of art in an encouraging and respectful way. So I really benefited from Mehmet Muller's insights and commitment to what he calls human experience rather than user experience. And from the get-go, we have consulted with a very diverse focus group that ranges in age from 6 years to 87 years old. So they're diverse social and cultural backgrounds and ethnicities. And they fed back to us what they like, what they don't like, and their ideas about what we could do to improve their experience of our imagined multiverse. So we did this outreach from the project inception, and user experience was not just an add-on, it was really at the heart of the project.
So our values are out of the box thinking, our inclusive perspectives and curation, our constant questioning and evaluating, and our visionary ways of engaging with global issues. So we're using this moment where we're talking to you about our previous research in order to really launch this new this new stage of our project, and we're calling for partners today that might like to work with us in a collaborative way. And we are constantly going for funding and different kinds of patronage. And we have a large membership opportunity in terms of audience participation from our previous works. So please contact us, and I'll be very interested in any questions that you have to ask.
Thank you. I think everything you showed and everything you said was absolutely marvelous. I think it's a great accolade that you got so many people through the door at the Tate Exchange. And I think one of the other comments, which is absolutely true, is it's the artist's aim, almost deliberately, to be disruptive. And that's almost the most significant thing that we can do to help to improve the world in which we live. And I think you probably were in tune with that idea, but also with the excellent idea of taking your work outside the gallery. I can see I mean, it was hugely impressive. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm not certain whether we have any questions. I'll have a look. If there are any questions, please type them in. I don't think there are any at the moment. Am I right about that?
Well, please get in touch if there are any, if anybody wants to. We've left our details there.
Right. So where are you based?
Well, we're both based in London.
Okay.
But we have connections across the regions.
Across the world. Yeah.
Of course. And are you expecting your group to gradually get bigger? Are you aiming to attract more people to it?
What we'd like to do, in a sense, is almost grow in a kind of pod-like way, so that
Yeah.
we've got our hub and maybe other people come on board and have their hubs. I mean, some of the collaborations that we are in the early days of sort of developing are with places like the Creo Museum in Freetown. Because Nazia has a lot of connections and has spent a lot of time in West
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
And so there are all kinds of interesting sort of dialogues that we're having with them, working out how our hub could be a prototype for other artist hubs, to sort of to involve local artists and enable them to have some kind of global context within which to put their work and their practices. Because actually isolation is a very big issue for creative artists. Isolation and not having enough contact with difference, you know.
As you know, at EVA, certainly EVA London, we do have very close relationships with artist hubs. I mean, the Flux Group is one that you know about. Less so, I think, so far with your group, but that might be me not knowing enough about it. But I certainly hope for the future that we do.